Old Bateman kept a chip shop, and his daughter Peggy Sue cleaned the fish and took the orders. She cut the tatties too, and the friar's name was Billy, and he sweated as he sang, as the orders sizzled in the oil and bubbled in the pan. Old Bateman took the money, and his daughter Peggy Sue would look up from her labours, and she'd smile along the queue. And was it Bateman's prices, or was it Billy's song, or was it lovely Peggy's smile that kept the queue so long? It was 1 in a million, 1 in a million. That chip shop was 1 in a million. No, it wasn't Bateman's prices, and it wasn't Billy's song, but it was Peggy Bateman's smile that kept the queue so long. She was shapely as a mermaid, and her lips were red and wet, and her eyes were bright as herrings flashing in the net. And to take away a portion and unwrap its fishy charms was to dream of nights of passion in lovely Peggy's arms. And Billy'd sing Delilah, and he'd sing Oh What a Night, but every song that Billy sang, he had Peggy in his sights. She was 1 in a million, 1 in a million. That girl was 1 in a million. Now Billy, he's loved Peggy with a love both shy and cruel, since first old Bateman took him on the day that he left school. And he tells her that he loves her in every song he sings, but as the batter bubbles, he never says a thing. But every week a fiver into a drawer he drops, and every week for 8 long years, then it's off to the jeweller's shop. Give me that ring there in the window, the one there on the velvet stand, the one with diamonds and with sapphires, the one that costs $2,000. It was 1 in a million, 1 in a million. That ring was 1 in a million. That evening after closing time, he walks her down beside the quay, and as the sun was sinking, he says, Peggy, marry me. He puts his hand into his pocket, he says, I bought this ring for you. She said, Billy, this is sudden, I never had a clue. She says, Billy, I hardly know you, so stop before you start. Never fool around with plastic in matters of the heart. You try to win me with this thing here, you probably won in some arcade. She tore it from his fingers and flung it in the waves. It was 1 in a million, 1 in a million. His love for her was 1 in a million. Well, Billy turns away then, and she took him by the arm. She says, Billy, love, I'm sorry, I never meant no harm. You're kindly and you're comforting, and I love the way you sing. But in all the years I've known you never said a thing. But I got a plan that's solid gold, none of your gilded tin. £5 a week on the lottery, and someday soon I'll win. And I'll be shot at this old town, and greasy fish and chips. She kissed him once and walked away, his tears were on her lips. Oh, dream on Peggy Bateman, oh, dream on Peggy Sue, of sunsets and of sports cars as you smile along the queue. Dream days to months and months to years in reverie of luck, but never in her dreaming did her numbers once come up. And as she was cleaning fish one day, with a slit from tail to jaw, something slithered through her fingers and fell onto the floor. She took it over to the sink then, and she washed the shining thing. White diamonds and bright sapphires set in a golden ring. It was 1 in a million, 1 in a million, the chances were 1 in a million. Hey Billy, love, your ring's come back, and underneath this light I can see it's made of purest gold, the stones are shining bright. Billy stood beside her with a smile bright as the sun. He puts it on her finger, says, Peggy Sue, you've won. Sell the ring and taste the freedom you've dreamt on all these years. He kissed her then, and as they kissed, they could taste each other's tears. Billy, go back to your frying and sing me Love is Blue. You're kindly and you're comforting, and I'd rather stay with you. It was 1 in a million, 1 in a million, when the chips were down. It was 1 in a million. Is there a dry eye in the house?